To the Eagles Nest at Eau Claire Memorial High School. Zaleski Sports presents girls high school basketball. And a great matchup tonight. Top two teams in the Big Rivers Conference. It's the Hudson Raiders at 7-3 overall, 3-0 in the Big Rivers. Ranked number 21 in the Zaleski Sports Division I poll against the Old Apes, who come in with an overall record of 8-1. They are 3-0 in Big Rivers Conference play. They're the number 15 ranked team in the Zaleski Sports I poll. Hi again, everybody. Here we are, new season, Sparks, and once again, these two programs at the top of the standings.
Yeah, you called it. Both of them sitting 3-0 in the conference, and both have had very excellent non-conference schedules early in the year to challenge themselves, especially Hudson. You know, Memorial hasn't been challenged in the non-conference schedule except for Stevens Point, which they went down to. But even there, that was the first game of the year, and they were without their star point guard, Lydia Palmier. But, you know, this is going to be tough for Memorial because this is going to be a different animal tonight. They're going to face somebody who's very tenacious, very physical, and so they're going to have to really make sure they can elevate their game to combat that tonight.
You mentioned Memorial losing its opener versus Stevens Point. Since then, though, the Abes have reeled off 8 straight wins. Right now, from the Eagles Nest, our national anthem played by the Memorial Pep Band.
National anthem tonight by the Memorial High School Pep Band under the direction of Mr. Eric Dasher.
Sparks, always good to have the Memorial Pep Band in the house. Really adds to the atmosphere. Eric Dasher always does a great job with that group. Starters set to be introduced tonight. Couple of players to keep an eye on for the Hudson Raiders. Devin Larson, the 5'7" sophomore, she wears number 24. Ella Wolf, 6'1" senior, wears number 32. Larson averaging 11.6 points per game. She's also shooting 40% from behind the arc. And Ella Wolf, 10.5 points per game. And we remembered, granted, Hudson graduated some excellent post and wing players, but the Raiders had a good plan to contain Raina Welsh last year.
Yeah, they sure did. And I remember Gretchen Witten, just a freshman last year, coming in and getting some quality minutes. So they are big. Wolf at 6'1", Witten at 6 foot. But you're right, Devin Larson, the point guard, she is tough. She can get that ball inside, and she can drain it from the outside if you sink too far.
Over for the Eau Claire Memorial Old Abes. Pretty familiar starting lineup. Rhea Shaw, Ashlyn Schroeder, Lydia Palmier, Raina Welsh, all returning starters. Marley Ferguson, the 5'8" sophomore, is going to get a start tonight. Ferguson has done well in her sophomore season, almost 6 points per game. So the Old Abes in their home white jerseys with the purple numerals, purple trim. Hudson in their familiar road blues with the white numerals and the white trim. Jess Vadnais, a good player in the day, back in the day I should say, for the Hudson Raiders as the head coach. Brandon Fanning, who could fill it up when he played for Eau Claire Regis, is the head coach of the Old Abes. He's a veteran coach now, right?
He is. Definitely. He's one of the veterans around the league, yeah. And I do like what he's doing tonight. I like kind of the idea of bringing Kling off the bench, Hoytomp, and Graham. You got some punch that can score off the bench too.
So here's Rhea Shaw to get it set up for the Old Abes. To Schroeder on the wing. looking inside. Got Welsh down low posting up. Here's Shaw going to bring it up top. We'll give and go. Paul Muir to the hoop, off the glass for
hoop.
2.
Yeah, she got a little bump there going down the lane, kissed it off the glass, nice.
Aves with some backcourt pressure.
Yeah, they'll do that all night if they can. It's one of the fortes of the Old Abe defense is just picking up full court and a lot of pressure.
Up top, here's Larson. Guarded by Shaw. Now McConnell on the wing. Here's Devin Larson trying to loop it inside, knocked away by Welsh. Deflected and then stolen back by the Raiders. Here comes McConnell, nice bounce pass. Wolf picks it up, turns around, no. Welsh the rebound, ahead to Shaw. Abe's looking to push. If you're looking at this lineup for the Abes, your best three-point threat, Paul Muir. Here's Schroeder, strong take, but got it blocked. Quickly ahead, Larson operating on Shaw. Layup, no. Put back, yes, for Maggie McConnell.
Yeah, Hudson breaking out on that. Now that's something the Old Abe's got to look to. They're sending those kids flying when they see the rebound.
Ashlyn Schroeder, baseline
good
layup
drive.
is good.
Good take right there by Schroeder.
In a good pace in the early minutes of this game. Now the Raiders, McConnell gets it inbounds to Blaney, back to McConnell. McConnell all the way to the hoop, overlays it. Schroeder the rebound. Shaw finds Paul Muir. Lydia Paul Muir. No,
couldn't get it to go.
Wouldn't have it. Yeah, and you touched on it, Sparks, with what Brandon Fanning is hoping to do by getting Ferguson in the starting lineup. It's going to allow him to play fast and use his bench. And if you look at these teams on paper, you think the Abes, okay, if they have an advantage, I think they're a little bit deeper than the Raiders.
Yeah, we'll have to see, right? We'll have to see how far Hudson wants to go onto that bench, but you're right. Coach Fanning's not afraid to go 9-10 deep here, early, in fact, in the games.
Yeah, he's got 2 players at the scorer's table right now with Gretchen Witten at the line.
Yeah, and here comes the 2 that we talked about, Nora Kling and Cora Graham. Again, these 2 can pick it up too with a lot of full court pressure, can look to score.
Graham got a lot of playing time as a sophomore. Now a junior, she's 5'10", averaging a little over 2 points per game. Kling has really been a revelation, 12.7 points per game, just a freshman.
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? Just a freshman. Great job of her stepping up and ready to play at this level.
Here's Graham on the perimeter. Welsh looking for that handoff, finds Paul Muir, backdoor cut, Schroeder. Graham with it. Schroeder will try a three-pointer. It rims out. Offensive rebound for the Abes, and off the glass, no, Nora Kling. Quickly into the front court. Larson gives it up, gets it back.
Good job by the Old Abes right there in recovery.
4-2 Old Abes. Down low, Ella Wolf, kick out. Here's Larson for 3.
That's that in-out game we talked about. Larson wants to get that ball in, and so she'll sit out there and drain that 3.
And then the Old Abes turn it over. Yeah, you mentioned that inside-out game. That's been a staple of Hudson basketball for as long as I can remember. They do that. They run that high-low. If they have the right kind of post players, they'll run that high-low.
Yeah, they've always seemed to have that big inside, haven't they, Bob? It's just like they've always got that one that they can feed, either to score or feed to kick out to the other guards. And this year, they got those 2 strong posts. So Larson looks to score off those.
And a steal by the Abes. Rhea Shaw all the way to the hoop. Here's Cora Graham for 3. A lot of contact down there. Meredith Adams of the Abes had tangled up with one of the Raiders and fouled on the drive that time. Is Greta Blaney.
Yeah, Blaney, good job of leaning in to try to draw contact right there, and she got the call. I will say this, the Old Abes have taken some threes tonight, but that's not one of their fortes early in the season. They're only shooting about 30% from the arc.
Jaden Matazinski is in for the Hudson Raiders, and Sparks, you and I, as guys who've been around athletics in this area for a long time, certainly remember her mom, then known as Corinne Von Wald. Now Corinne Matazinski, fantastic guard for the Hudson Raiders.
Yeah, that was
finished her
during
career
their
at the
dynasty.
University of Minnesota. Oh, boy.
Absolutely.
On
Great
the drive. Nora Kling. Well, right back at you for the Abes.
Instant offense, though. We talked about it coming off the bench.
Back the other way. Layup good for Libby Bartz, the freshman.
Yeah, we get some outstanding freshmen stepping in here tonight to play.
Abes running that weave. Here's Shaw. Graham now. Graham, little step
Good
through
move.
off the glass for two.
Like that spin move back to the left hand. Good finish. And there goes Hudson. They got numbers again. 2-on-1.
Wolf the feed to Libby Bartz.
They're doing a good job beating that press now. Throwing over the top, getting numbers.
Well, this is Hudson's 11th game. This is the 10th game for the Old Abes. And I don't want to say it's easier to scout because you've got to look at so many more things. But as far as exchanging video, it's not like the old days.
Oh, no, you,
right?
You get it right there on it anytime you want. You go to huddle, pull it up. You can see you don't have to go anywhere anymore. Yeah, you remember those late nights having to travel on the road to catch another team? And
right, you'd be sending somebody to scout
Yep.
another team and all that. So, and you know both of these staffs, Brandon Fanning's staff and Just Vadnais' staff, is
there's
pay attention
no
to that.
there's no secrets between what these two teams are going to do. Again, both really well coached teams, outstanding programs.
You know, I was talking to Just Vadnais before the game. That's one of the things she said. She said, we love coming over here. You know, the atmosphere is always good. Crowd turns out. Tons of respect for the Memorial program. It's like, these are the games that make you better. Inbounds pass. The Abes can't quite finish, but down low.
Oh, that's one she's got to have. Welsh on a good rebound.
Convert.
Yeah, didn't finish.
Strong take to the hoop that time by Bartz. That one may have been deflected quickly back the other way. Nora Kling, that's no good. Up and down the court we go. Here's McConnell.
Good decision right there by McConnell. Initially thought she had the numbers, was smart just to pull it out.
Loose on the floor.
Shaw getting after it. Shaw and Larson diving on the floor.
They're going to get the held ball, and since the Old Abes won the tip, the possession arrow point in the way of the Hudson Raiders. Their basketball up by 2. McConnell to throw it in. Witten on the drive, knocked away, and
Kling,
a steal
good job.
for the Abes. Here's Nora Kling. Puts it up.
Ooh.
Fouled on the shot. Didn't quite get the and one, but she'll head to the line.
I thought Nora was a little forced in that one the last time down the floor, but that was a much better decision. Took her time, realized she had the number to take her one-on-one, and drew the foul.
Graham checking in for the Old Abes. Schroeder will check in for Kling. Should Kling sink this free throw?
Ooh, in and out.
She'll stay in the game, but right there for the rebound is Raina Welsh. She gets fouled.
Yeah, again, another offensive board. She moves so well on that offensive glass. She's just got a knack to know where that ball's coming off.
And it appears Brandon Fanning has changed his mind on who Ashlyn Schroeder is going to be subbing for.
Yeah, free throw is an issue here for the Old Abes early. No, you're
now
right.
he makes the, now he makes
They just want to wait for that second free throw for that
there you
subbing.
go.
That's what it is.
Right. One out of 2 for Raina Welsh. Raiders with the ball and a 1-point lead. McConnell hassled by Graham. Tough shot in the lane. Devin Larson gets the roll.
Nice touch. Yeah, you said it. Tough shot. She got the roll.
3-point lead for the Raiders. Rhea Shaw down the lane. Who won't have it. Offensive rebound. Put back. No. Scramble for the rebound. Good job, Ella Wolf. She'll lead the break.
That's the third trip in a row that they've got that offensive board.
Taking it to the hoop. Ella Wolf. No rebound. Bucket. Foul.
McConnell, and a great follow there. She followed that hoop. Old Abe's caught standing looking, and she got the board and fouled it up with one.
Back in for the Old Abes, Nora Kling. And Meredith Adams back in.
Again, you can see the high rotation numbers here for the Old Abes. Trying to keep legs fresh so they can keep up that pressure.
That free throw no good. Schroeder the rebound. Nora Kling on the drive.
Oof. Looking for the call.
Contact.
Fanning doesn't get it.
Yeah, I thought the Abes might get one there, but it's play on. Here's Witten. Strong to the hoop.
Yeah, good drive
She'll
right
head
there.
to the line.
Yeah, good drive right there. Went to the left hand, took it up to the glass, and drew the one.
Foul goes on Meredith Adams. And that is her first. Fourth team foul on the Old Abes. Oh for 2. So as well as these teams have played, Sparks, free throw shooting is
yeah, and it's
a
going to
little
come.
off.
And I think it's going to come down to that. The team that can start to really knock those down might just pull away late.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And that just gets magnified as the game goes on. Here's Kling. Hesitation.
Nice hesitation.
Dribble, counted and the foul.
Oh, savvy for a freshman right there. That little hesitation. Taking it hard. Boy, I have been impressed early here with her.
Spargs, as a former coach at Memorial, former athlete yourself, and then as a parent, you know it's not easy at a Division I Wisconsin high school to crack the starting lineup when you're a freshman.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter what sport, female, male, or whatever. It's that shows that you are ready to go if you can crack that.
So yeah, this is the first time I've seen Nora Kling at the varsity level. We always see the tail end of JV games, as we're getting set up. So you've heard what she brings to the table, but when you watch her play, you're like, doesn't play like a freshman.
No, absolutely. You would never know that was out there.
Nice drive. And the finish, Libby Bartz. Boy, Bartz has done well coming off the bench for the Raiders. She's got 6 points. 5-point lead for the Raiders. Good look inside, knocked out of bounds. Abes will keep it.
Yeah, good try there by Cora Graham. Little drive, tried to dish off to Meredith Adams, but just knocked away.
Shaw and Welsh back in for Memorial. Wide open underneath Lydia Palmier.
Good patience on the inbounds pass there, letting that create.
Under 10 minutes to go in a fast-paced first half. This has been a good one here between the Raiders and the Old Abes. First place in the conference on the line in this early January tilt. That pass goes awry. Here come the Abes with Kling. Inside, Raina Welsh off the glass for
good
2.
entry from Kling. Welsh with the nice move and a kiss off the glass. Hudson's going to use a timeout here.
It's a 30-second timeout. We'll take one as well. You're watching girls high school basketball on Zaleski Sports.
Power & Find has been based in Marshfield since 1955. And if you're in business that long, you're obviously doing many things right. We always focus on selling world-class products, backing it up with world-class customer support.
Working with Power & Find Business Technologies has been a pleasure. We have staff on call that we can call if we ever have issues, and the printer usability has been really easy, user-friendly.
give us a call, visit our website. We'd be happy to come in, talk to you. Maybe there's a way we can help you save some money and work more efficiently.
Herrick and Hart Law Office has been on the side of the injured since 1951. Find them at eauclairlaw.com. And just like these players bring their best to the court, Ridgetop Exteriors brings top-tier performance to your home. From roofing projects to siding, windows, and doors, Ridgetop Exteriors has the winning strategy to protect your home. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com and score big with trusted, local, affordable service. 1 point lead for the Raiders. They've got the basketball. Here's Belaney.
Good set play out of bounds there.
Olivia Osterhuis inside, and then the finish for Ella Wolf.
Yeah, that was designed right out of the timeout. They wanted to run that high pick and roll and get the switch, get the mismatch.
Welsh operating down low in traffic.
Strong.
And they'll get the reach-in foul on the Raiders.
Yeah, they had a chance to take that away, but Welsh would not have it. She was strong with the basketball.
Foul goes on Olivia Osterhuis. Schroeder to throw it in for Memorial. Here's Rhea Shaw. Shaw on the drive, all the way to the hoop. No.
Boy, that's her game right there.
But a back tap. Ames will get a reset. Kling. Knocked away. Kling gets it back out to Schroeder. Good job by Schroeder to receive that pass. Now down low, Ferguson.
Good job by Ferguson coming to meet that pass. She was left wide open.
Great hustle by the Abes, and the key there, Sparks, just keep the ball alive.
Absolutely.
Started with that back tap by Welsh, then Schroeder coming to receive a pass to just keep it moving. Now pressure by the Abes. Larson able to beat that trap. Now to Osterhuis. Up top, here's Bartz. Ella Wolf spins and
Good
scores.
move. Nice patience right there on that little post move.
Kling. Kick out. Welsh didn't connect on that pass to Shaw. Raiders on the push. Here's Larson. Gives it up. Belaney. Now Bartz. Inside, knocked aside, and
Good defense right there by the old Abes. Trap on that spin move.
official Mike Dwyer right on the spot and saw that it went off a Hudson player. So again, that pressure defense by the Abes paying dividends.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where you may not see it the first 10, 15 minutes of the game, but boy, you have to face that for 36 minutes. That's when the old Abes are relying on that late in the game fatigue.
And a key stretch coming up here, Sparks, as we're getting toward that latter portion of the first half. Which team can make a bit of a run? Palmier. And they're going to get that as a shooting foul. And as you might expect, not a popular call for the Hudson bench there.
Yeah,
Head coach Jess Padness.
Yeah, Palmier might have gotten bailed out on that one. She was in trouble and wasn't finding an outlet, so she just tried to force that up and got the foul with it.
By my very unofficial scoring, Spargs, that's the first made free throw for the Abes. Nope, check that. They hit one more. Wanted to that trip, but Palmier follows her shot. Abes almost lose it.
Yeah, good pressure from Larson there on Shaw.
Shaw hustling to save it in bounds, but it went right to a Hudson player. Here's Witten. Kick out to Wolf. Now McConnell. Cut off by Palmier. Ella Wolf. Cross court, open look. Matasinski, that's no good. Kling the rebound. Nora Kling going all the way to the hoop. Contact on the drive, and Nora Kling will head to the line.
She is so aggressive taking that ball to the hoop. You give her a little bit of a shot to go through, she's going to aim for it.
Bruce Orthodontics provides comprehensive orthodontic care for patients of all ages. They are now accepting new patients at their Marshfield office, and they take most insurances. At Bruce Orthodontics, they are changing lives one smile at a time. Call their Marshfield office to set up a free consultation today. Mancino's Grinders and Pizza, locally owned and operated, and they've been a family tradition for more than 27 years. For the best hot sandwich in town, grab a grinder at Mancino's, conveniently located just off of Highway 53 and Claremont Avenue in Eau Claire. Second throw coming for Kling, and she knocks it down.
6 points for her this first half so far. She'll
and
take a quick break.
That free throw percentage for the Eau Claire Memorial Old Age team is, it's going up. 20-all. We are getting exactly the kind of game we thought we might. And 3-second violation called on the Raiders.
He dumped it inside right there to Witten, and Ashton Schroeder with the nice defense to keep it and had to kick it out, but it just took too long to get out of the paint. That's 3 seconds.
Paul Meir to walk it up. Graham with it on the wing. They go inside Welsh. Hudson really collapsing on Welsh when she gets a touchdown low. Marley Ferguson, no. Yep. Rebound, Ella Wolf.
Good drive there by Ferguson.
Here's Larson. Connell now.
Yeah, that's going to be a foul on Graham. They're trying to reach through.
Kling and Shaw back in for the Old Abes. It's the first foul assessed on Cora Graham. And 15 foul for the Abes, and
good
a steal by Graham. Sparks, you talked about it, just that relentless pressure applied by the Abes. Good on-ball defense there. Graham going to the hoop, blocked by Witten.
They call a jump ball on that one.
And possession arrow point in the way of the Abes. Libby Bart's back in for the Raiders. Nor Kling to throw it in. Under 6 minutes left in this first half. And there's a 5-second call. Good defense there by the Raiders.
Yeah, real nice job of switching off those screens. Getting the 5 call.
Whether it's skiing, hockey, or basketball this winter, Shepke Chiropractic has got your back for all your sports-related injuries. Rely on Shepke Chiropractic. Get you back in the game. Visit them online, shepkechiropractic.com. 20 apiece between the Raiders and the Old Abes. Knocked away by Shaw. Can she keep it in bounds? Yes, she can. Nora Kling ahead to Raina Welch. Welch off the glass.
Oh, making space.
Boy, Raiders fans
clearing them out. Yeah.
Raiders fans wanted the double dribble, although I think that ball was knocked away.
Yeah, I don't think she had control. You're right.
2-point lead for the
good backdoor cut.
Off the glass, no, Matisinski. Abes trying to save it, but Kling stepped out of bounds. Culligan Water specializes in all of your water softener, drinking water, and water filtration systems. You can count on Culligan to keep your water pure and healthy with unparalleled service and convenient delivery options. Raiders basketball down by 2. They had held the lead for quite a long time. This game was tied 6 apiece. It was also tied 10 apiece. And the Raiders went on a nice run, but the Abes have scored the last 5 points.
The second one there on Paul Meir, so she's going to have to sit. I'd be surprised if she comes back this half.
Raiders loop it in. There's a shot from outside Matizinski. No offensive rebound off the glass. No for McConnell. Another opportunity. Ella Wolf ahead to the line.
Good job by the Hudson Raiders attacking that glass. Caught the Old Apes standing around watching, looking for somebody else to get that rebound. Fouls are starting to be a little bit of an issue here for the Old Aves. Palmier with 2, and now Schroeder with 2.
Kling back in for Memorial. Greta Bellini back in for the Hudson Raiders. Raiders within a point here. And the layup, no good. How did that not go down?
I think she
From
just
Harley
lost
Ferguson.
control on the way up, but you're right. What a move.
From the perimeter, no. Decent look that time for Libby Bartz. Here's Graham on the drive. Wanted to leave it to Kling. Stolen by the other number 5, Bellini. Bellini off the glass, no. Kling the rebound. Abe's have numbers. Nora Kling. Right back to Kling, no. Kling keeps it alive. Graham on the drive. Was that deflected? Nope. This went out of bounds.
That's one of those where it's just kind of getting out of control. You want somebody just to grab that ball and get it back on top and reset, reload.
Meredith Adams in for the Old Aves. Fleet Farm's layaway program is here to help you make this year's holiday shopping easier than ever. Get the biggest and best gifts secured before they're gone and enjoy convenient payment and storage options. Learn more about Fleet Farm's layaway program. Visit any store or head to fleetfarm.com. Aves, the Raiders rather, will head to the free throw line after that exchange. And once again, Ella Wolf.
Yeah, again,
active down low.
They're using her with that pick and roll because the Old Aves want to switch everything, so they're going to put a mismatch every time they screen with Wolf. She's going to get a mismatch, and they've been looking for her, and it's paid off.
Whether you are buying or selling, turn to the Jesperson Group at C21 Affiliated. They've got a pulse of the local real estate market, and they can assist you with both existing homes and new builds. They can help you through each step of the process, making the home buying and selling simple, not stressful. That is what you get with Jesperson Group at C21 Affiliated. 22 all here as we wind down in the first half. It's been a good one from the Eagles' Nest. Kling to Graham. Up top, here's Ferguson. Now Shaw. Adams over to Kling. Nora Kling knocked away, and it's off of her and out of bounds.
Yeah, they reached in, poked a little bit, but it went off Kling's body and went out of bounds.
Gretchen Witten checking back in for the Hudson Raiders, getting Libby Bartz. As we said, Bartz has been a good contributor off the bench, averaging 4.5 points per game coming into this matchup. She's exceeded that already. Wolf, the lob down low. Witten blocked by Graham. Reset for the Raiders. Here's Bellini. Strong take. No offensive rebound. Put back. No. Ball batted around. Adams. Adams and Wolf were going after it. But they're going to get Meredith Adams on the foul. Kind of tough luck there for the Old Aves.
Yeah, again, they're just not controlling that offensive board down there. Hudson's just doing a good job of staying after it. Then they've made the Old Aves pay for it. Either they're putting it back or they're drawing the fouls.
At Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, whether you are a professional athlete, weekend warrior, or simply have an aching joint, rest assured you'll receive unsurpassed care delivered with compassion and respect. When you need it most, visit the sports medical experts at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Second one coming here for Ella Wolf. 2-2. Wolf up to 8 points. Raiders back in the lead, 24-22.
Old Aves a little sluggish lately on the offensive set.
Rhea Shaw, good take. Too hard off the glass. Raiders on the push. Trying to get something in the secondary break. Here's an open shot from outside Bellini. That was too strong. Kling trying to corral it.
Oh, look at that.
To Rhea Shaw. How did that get there, Sparks?
She just threw it down towards the basket, knowing that's the best place to throw it. And Shaw's the beneficiary of being in the right place, right time.
I'm just amazed that Pat's got exactly where it needed to be. That was looking like disaster for the Abes, and somehow they get a layup out of it. Under 2 minutes to go. Boy, this has been a good one. Up top, Ella Wolf, a little short. Playing the rebound. Drives and kicks. And Nora Kling lays it up and in.
She's so good with that step through. She'll pick that ball up before the pressure, step through strong, take it to the glass.
Nora Kling with 8 points for the Abes. Knocked out of bounds, they say last touched by the Abes. Witten back in for the Raiders. Witten with it. Going in. Then it's blocked. Oh, good defense that time by Welsh. Here comes Shaw the other way.
Oh, tough move.
Rhea Shaw.
Goes to her left hand to finish.
6-0 run for the Abes. Has them on top by 4. Talked about it, Sparks. These final minutes of the first half, what an important stretch.
Yeah,
it is.
And here's another turnover. You're just trying to wear them down. Just trying to wear them down, and here it is. They get some turnovers here late in the half.
Matazinski checking back in for the Raiders. And checking in for the first time, Millie Cayley, the 5'6" sophomore. Nora Kling will get a rest. We'll see how Brandon Fanning decides to play it here. Does he run clock or does he try to get something quick?
You just really want him to be patient right here, run a set. If you get the layup, take it. But like you said, why not wait? You got plenty of time.
Cayley on the wing. Hand it off to Shaw. 30 seconds left. Graham pulls it up. Ferguson down low, Welsh, and she'll head to the line with 18 seconds remaining.
I got a chuckle because all of a sudden with 20 seconds left, Fanning was like, all right, pull it out. Ferguson had other ideas as she drove it in there and dished it off for the good look.
HS Fence specializes in chain link, vinyl, wood, and ornamental fencing. They have been providing commercial and residential fencing to the people of Wisconsin for the past 18 years. Contact them today in Fall Creek or at hsfencewi.com. Raina Welsh up to 6 points, looking for 7, and she's got it. Abes by 6. Larson. And the bounce pass. Nice back door. That doesn't work. And then a good look by Wolf. And that's how this half will end. Old Abes with a late run to pull into the lead 30-24. Sparks, I tell you, this is a fast-paced game. Right from the opening tip, and it's just that little push by the Old Abes there that's given them the 6-point lead heading to halftime.
Yeah, we talked about the depth and how quickly Fanning's willing to go to his bench and get him in as soon as he wants, and they just keep rotating him through. You know, again, just like we've talked about this before, it's almost like watching a hockey team. Bring in the next shift. Keep them moving. Keep jumping up the boards. Keep your legs fresh. And as much pressure as they're trying to apply Hudson, they want to stay fresh, and it just makes them work that much harder. And Hudson's gone to 3 off the bench, but again, they're key players. Larson, I don't even think Larson took a break, and I think Wolf only had like a short break in there, so their key players are having to play a lot of minutes with that pressure.
To cover your church, call the Dahlman Insurance Agency for a coverage analysis. Dahlman Insurance covers churches in Wisconsin with Hastings Insurance Company. Online at DahlmanInsurance.com. Dahlman Insurance. Come for the rates, stay for the service. We are at the half. Old Abes leading the Raiders 30-24. You are watching girls basketball on Zaleski Sports.
Ridgetop, we are your trusted, local, affordable exterior Bo.
Exactly, especially when we are working on someone's biggest investment.
Can you give us an example, Bo?
Well, there was this house. We replaced the roofing, siding, and windows. Then they left a 5-star review.
One of our thousands of 5-star reviews?
Exactly.
For your free, no obligation estimate, call us today or go to ridgetopexteriors.com.
Welcome to Bruce Orthodontics, where we provide comprehensive orthodontic care to patients of all ages. We are now accepting new patients, and we accept most insurances.
Orthodontics is much more than just a job to me. It is my passion and my life. What separates us from other orthodontists is constant continuing education for myself and my staff, compassion, and dedication. Here at Bruce Orthodontics, we change lives one smile at a time. I'd love the opportunity to meet you and transform your smile.
Call us to set up your free consultation today.
Get more sales, more customers, more employees, more community support. Let Zaleski Sports help you today. Our advertising rates are less than what you have in your pocket now. People just like you watching this broadcast are your next customer or team member. Plus, you'll have the satisfaction of making sure that our light continues to shine on these student athletes. Use the phone in your hand. Email us now. The biggest name in streaming and the biggest name in Wisconsin high school sports broadcasting are now in the same place. Download the Zaleski Sports app on Roku today for easy viewing of your favorite high school sports. Find games by season, sport, or school, then sit back and enjoy. Download the Zaleski Sports app on Roku today.
Hey, you're tuned in to Better Halves.
Skip, I love my hometown, and I want a health plan that feels the same way. So, what are your favorite local date spots?
Oh, yeah, I know like all the date spots in Eau Claire.
Jane, I'm Steve from Security. I've lived here in Wisconsin my whole life, and that means I understand your health coverage needs better.
By the way, Doug, it's Eau Claire. I have a dozen Eclairs in my dressing room.
Culligan Water delivers. From your first to your first soak. Culligan, the only water that comes with a van.
From humble beginnings in 1904, the Wheatrick family has grown Grassland Dairy Products into one of the largest processors of butter in the nation. Based in Greenwood, Wisconsin, the family and its hundreds of employees continue their pursuit of providing high-quality products that can proudly be served in restaurants and homes across America.
Bauer & Feind has been based in Marshfield since 1955. And if you're in business that long, you're obviously doing many things right. We always focus on selling world-class products, backing it up with world-class customer support.
Working with Bauer & Feind Business Technologies has been a pleasure. We have staff on call that we can call if we ever have issues, and the printer usability has been really.
Visit our website. We'd be happy to come in, talk to you. Maybe there's a way we can help you save some money and work more efficiently.
We are back at the Eagles Nest, Eau Claire Memorial High School at the half. Eau Claire Memorial leading Hudson 30-24. Both of these teams coming in 3-0 in Big Rivers Conference play. Bob Radovich, Dave Sparger with you. And Sparks, boy, entertaining first half, up and down. Both teams going to their bench, but that late little run by the Old Abes has them in the lead.
Yeah, we talked about the first half. It's not the first 10 minutes of the Old Abe pressure that gets to you. It's those last 8 or last 5 of the half. And sure enough, with about 5 minutes left on the clock, we were tied at 22, and that's when the Old A's kind of went on that surge late to stretch it out to 30 to 24. So again, Old A's are going to just keep coming with that pressure. It does not matter who comes off the bench or who's starting. They all play the same way.
Anything that you've seen, Spargs, that the A's did from a schematic or a substitution pattern that you think has helped them in this one?
I think just, again, trying to keep them fresh. Like, make them go hard for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and then boom, you're out. Take a minute break, then we're going to come in with somebody else. They just got that, 8, 9, 10-man rotation, and it's not for each other, though. It's not like, hey, you always got the same person. They're keeping it moving. Or you got this time, you get this girl this time. And again, it's just go hard as you possibly can for 2.5 minutes. And I'll tell you, the kid that I've kind of really noticed, Rhea Shaw. Rhea Shaw on defense has made Devin Larson's life miserable on the court. Now, Devin does have 5 points, but she's had to work so hard for that, and she runs that offense. She drained that 3 early in the half, and she only had 2 points the rest of the way. And again, Shaw was just on her the whole time, making it tough.
And Sparks, you pointed this out in the first half, and it's something that I've seen in basketball for a long time. It's just that sometimes that pressure, it's a cumulative thing. And it's not designed to just get steals and layups in the backcourt. It just makes your life difficult. As you get more tired as an offensive player, it's tougher and tougher to deal with that pressure. Key for the A's to play that pressure defense without getting in further foul trouble.
Yeah, that's just it. We talked about it late in the half, how they had Palmier and Schroeder had to sit probably the last 3.5 minutes because they each picked up their second, and Fanning likes to get those kids to sit and not have those 3 in the first half. But again, only 2 fouls. They're coming out in the second half. Everybody's in good shape now for the second half, but you're right. Pressure defense without fouling. And we talked about that with Brisky's and the boys program. Same thing, right? Keep the pressure, but don't foul. Don't give them those free ones from the line. So again, the Old A's will just look to continue that pressure as much as possible to force the action.
Got Raina Welsh with 7 points for the A's. Lydia Palmier has got 5. Rhea Shaw 4. Nora Kling coming off the bench for the A's, 8 points. So she's contributed, and she just has that extra gear, Sparks. She's just got the court sense. I mean, it's one thing to be, a physically gifted player, but it's another thing to have the court sense.
Yeah.
That again, if you didn't have a roster and you just said, okay, number 3 for Eau Claire Memorial, what grade is she? I'd go junior, senior?
Yeah, absolutely. You're upperclassmen, a lot of experience, and their go-to person, right? You're like, all right, that kid's gifted, an athlete, doing all the right things, must be an upperclassman. But again, to her advantage, though, Hudson wants to spread the floor defensively. They're going to go out and face you. They don't do a lot of sinking. They're going to go out there and contest. They're going to try to take passing lanes. So you've seen the Old A's look to attack off the dribble. Now, if Hudson does sink and does steal a gap, then they kick. But I'll tell you what, they can't get there with Kling. They're not getting there in time. Kling is picking up. She steps through the double team and then looks for that lay-in, and either she's knocking it down or else the Old A's are able to get in there for a rebound. But so far, she's been putting them down.
Leading scorers for the Raiders, you got Ella Wolf with 8. You got Devin Larson with 5, and Maggie McConnell has 4.
And Libby Bartz has 6. She was their key off the bench that you talked about.
Yeah, she was a key. Well, halftime adjustments is a thing, right? As a coach.
Oh, definitely.
It's not like you scrap the game plan.
You always got to tweak,
you
right?
Tweak,
you just got to fix a few things here and there. I'd be curious to see what the Old A's want to do with that high pick and roll when they use Ella Wolf there high, and they keep switching that, and it just gives Hudson such a mismatch. We'll see if they try to, maybe not switch that, but get under or get over that to stay with their player.
Second half underway. Hudson with the basketball. This is Larson. Loops it inside. Witten able to hit.
There again, there's that high pick and roll, this time with Witten.
Boy, that's about the third time this game Hudson has come out of a break and run a set and gotten a bucket. Schroeder on the perimeter for the A's. Lydia Palmier.
Good
cut.
cut.
Schroeder on the back door. It was blocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Raiders.
Good look right there by Schroeder, taking that backdoor cut. Had the feed, just got it blocked.
So Ashlyn Schroeder to throw it in for the Hudson Raiders. On the drive, no good. Reyes Shaw, Raiders on the push. Here's Belaney. And up top, Larson. Boy, Swartz, you hit it on the head when we were talking at halftime. The defensive job that the Old Abe's have done as a team on Devin Larson.
Yeah, they're just trying to make, again, they're not necessarily getting a steal from her, but they just want to make her work that much harder. Again, let that fatigue get in late in the game.
Abe's by 4 with the basketball.
Here's a set play for the Old Abe's.
And a steal. Back the other way, Greta Belaney, and it's blocked from behind.
Great hustle by Ferguson.
Abe's now with number. Shaw, Welsh,
great look.
Bucket, and the foul.
Shaw dropping it off to Welsh. What a great look. Boy, so many things that Shaw does on the floor just kind of go unnoticed. You don't see him in the box score. Boy, she is ready to play tonight.
She will check out. Nora Kling back in, but go back to that block by Marley Ferguson. Not giving up the play, following the play.
And not fouling.
Fouling.
Yep,
and
great hustle.
The Abes take it back the other way with Shaw on the push. It's good team basketball right there. Defense leading the offense. 7-point lead for the Abes. It's their largest in the game.
Yeah.
And
Kling on the good help.
Forcing the held ball. Some good defense on Belaney. Now Belaney will check out. Libby Bart's back in.
Got to get a nice entry. Got to get it to her when she's in that post like that.
Palmier so crafty down low. Here's Schroeder on the baseline. Kling going baseline. Finds Welsh, but they're going to get Kling in steps.
Had the right idea. Looking to dish it off to Welsh inside. Just one too many steps.
On the wing with it, here's Bartz. She'll launch from outside. It's short, but an offensive rebound. Witten taken away by Kling. Nora Kling on the push. Out to Palmier up top. Schroeder. Now they swing it. Lost out of bounds, but last touched by the Raiders.
See, here we are 2.5 into the second half, and he's already got 3 subs coming in for the Old Abes.
Mutual of Wausau Insurance, protecting homes, farms, and businesses since 1875. Visit mutualofwausau.com to find an agent near you. Abe's just beat the 5-second count. Kling tried to get it to Meredith Adams, knocked out of bounds. They say last touched by the Old Abes.
Yeah, kind of had Adams going away from the pass instead of coming to it. Real tight quarters there.
On the wing, Larson inside, Wolf.
Good defense by Adams that time.
And they're going to get the foul on the Raiders. Two more subs.
Just out of bounds right there, no foul.
Up, okay. But eagle-eyes Sparks. Yeah. I'm multitasking over here.
You got to get those ads in too,
Well, yeah, you got to pay the bills. You know the drill. Welsh and Schroeder back in for the Abes. The other nice luxury the Eau Claire Memorial Old Abes have is a number of players that can handle a basketball. There's one of them, Graham, kind of lost the handle going up.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Four out of the 5 are going to be able to handle the basketball, no problem. Not to say Welsh couldn't, but they'd prefer her not to, that's all.
On the drive, Witten. And it's Palmier on the steal.
Good job, Palmier, seeing that one.
Quickly ahead, Schroeder.
Oh, good look.
Pass, Welsh.
Wow, there's a good look for the Old Abes.
Put that one on the highlight reel. Abes by 9. And a whistle foul
Yeah, Schroeder's going to get a little ticky-tack one there on the perimeter.
Security Financial Bank, SFB, whether you are starting a business, buying your first home, or saving for college, SFB has the bankers who believe in you. Learn more today at sfbank.com, member FDIC. So third foul on Ashlyn Schroeder, so she will sit. From the perimeter, Witten knocks one down.
Whitner.
Just a two-pointer. Toes were on the line.
Her fourth point of the night. Been a little quiet there.
Abes by 7 with the ball. Ferguson, Shaw. Kling in traffic.
She drew the foul there, yep.
Drew the foul on Bartz.
Yeah, Bartz came down with the arm across. That was an easy call. But again, there's Kling being aggressive, going to the hole.
Nora Kling adds another point to her total. Looking to break into double figures with this free throw right here. Nora Kling, 2 of 2. She's got 10 points. Adams in for Welsh. Matazinski back in for the Old Abes. On the drive, McConnell gets the one to drop right there, going glass for 2.
Yeah, good take by McConnell. Real aggressive, going baseline and finding that one.
It's a 6-point lead for the Abes at the break. It now stands at 7 as these teams have traded buckets these last couple trips. Bounce pass inside, stolen away by Bartz. Matazinski gives it up. McConnell. Here's Wolf driving on Adams. Nearly stolen, and then Kling commits the foul. It's a two-shot foul.
A little reach in on that one. I tell you, the adjustment the Raiders have done now is they're taking Larson off the ball to bring it up. They're letting her play off the ball and then run the offense that way. So they're trying to take a little pressure off her so she doesn't have to work so darn hard.
Again, we talk about those adjustments, and those go on during the course of the game. It doesn't always just happen at halftime.
Yeah,
but it's
absolutely.
one of those things you tweak. Schroeder, Welsh, Palmier back in for Memorial.
See there again, Palmier maybe had a minute on the bench, and she's back in. Just enough to get a drink, get a little rest, and here we go.
6-point game now. Schroeder out there with 3 fouls, but again, given the depth of the Old Abes, Brandon Fanning can leave her out there. But
going to call a carry on that one.
Yeah.
We don't see that call very much.
Nope, you sure don't. So now the Raiders a chance to cut into the 6-point lead. Wolf recovers. Operating on Welsh. Backdoor pass, Matazinski the kick. Wolf.
Good
nice
look.
Shot off the glass.
Yeah, good little runner right there through the lane.
Hello, Wolf. Nice shot that time. The Raiders have crept within 4. And a foul on the drive as Graham was taking it inside. You know, the one thing we haven't seen a whole lot of out of the Abes tonight, we haven't seen a lot of threes. There's only been a couple that they've attempted.
Early, right, very early in the game. Yeah, we talked about that's not one of their fortes. They're only knocking down maybe 30%, and they were about 1 of 4 or 0 of 3 there beginning. You're right, they haven't even attempted one since.
Approaching the 12-minute mark. Palmier to Graham. Graham on the drive. Palmier, she's capable from behind the arc. Goes inside to Welsh. Wanted the step through. Good help side defense by McConnell. Now the Raiders will slow it down a bit. Near steal by Palmier.
Which is probably going to lead to. We got a block.
Blocking
Looking for the
foul.
charge. Didn't get it.
Blocking foul on Raina Welsh.
Tell you, Wolf was a little concerned with that call. She gave a little clap after she realized it was a block and not a charge.
So the Raiders to throw it inbounds with Maggie McConnell. Knocked away by the Abes.
Graham can get there. She's got to pull that out. She's got to
Graham's
pull that
strong
out.
take, but they say it's off of Graham.
Yeah, great effort right there, but just one you wish that she just would have grabbed a hold of and just pulled it out again. A lot of traffic, a lot of issues with just getting control of that one, but great hustle.
Nora Kling coming in for Graham. Raiders down by 4. Up top, here's Wolf.
We got a good job by Schroeder then. I'll tell you what, I think Wolf got away with one there. She held Schroeder off from getting it.
Up top, Witten. Hands to Larson. Schroeder on her. Matazinski. Open behind the arc. It's no good. Offensive rebound and a block by the Abes. Scramble for the loose ball. Winds up in the hands of Larson. Her three no good. Another offensive rebound, McConnell.
Timeout Hudson, though.
We'll get the timeout. It's a full timeout as well. We'll step aside for the next 60 seconds. You're watching girls high school basketball on Zaleski Sports.
Ridgetop, we are your trusted, local, affordable exterior renovations expert. Isn't that right, Bo?
Exactly, especially when we are working on someone's biggest investment.
Can you give us an example, Bo?
Well, there was this house. We replaced the roofing, siding, and windows. Then they left a 5-star review.
One of our thousands of 5-star reviews?
Exactly.
For your free, no obligation estimate, call us today or go to ridgetopexteriors.com.
Get more sales, more customers, more employees, more community support. Let Zaleski Sports help you today. Our advertising rates are less than what you have in your pocket now. People just like you watching this broadcast are your next customer or team member. Plus, you'll have the satisfaction of making sure that our light continues to shine on these student athletes. Use the phone in your hand. Email us now.
We're back at the Eagles Nest. Eau Claire Memorial 37, Hudson 33. Bob Radovich, Dave Sparger with you, and glad you're along as well. This has been a good one, Sparks.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be coming in. It's coming down to the wire here.
And a steal by the Abes. Nora Kling to the hoop for 2 more.
Too easy for Kling. She saw that when she turned and saw the basketball in flight. Easy steal.
Open look. That shot won't go down. Good look that time by Larson. Kling back the other way. Kling and a block. Great defense by Whitten.
Schroeder, the great defense.
And right back at you.
Great job defensively. That was a 3-on-1. Ashlyn Schroeder able to tie it up and get the jump ball.
Well, it started with the defense on one end, and then the Abes playing some defense on the other.
Yeah, Hudson has several blocks tonight, that's for sure.
It's a 6-point lead for the Raiders. Here's Larson. Now with Shaw on her. That's the other thing Memorial has done, too, on Larson. They've rotated 3 or 4 different players on her.
Oh, yeah, they're not afraid to get fresh legs to chase her.
Good look inside. Knocked out of bounds. They say last touch by the Abes.
Yeah, good job by Schroeder opening up and seeing that pass in. Again, the adjustment on that high screen there, that time Shaw was able to get over that screen and not switch it. It's definitely what the old Abes are going to try to do.
Cora Graham back in for the old Abes. Whitten.
In and out.
And good box out by Welsh. Kling back up to Welsh. She'll try a three-pointer.
Speaking of in and out.
In and out, but
Wow.
look at Cora Graham tracking down that loose rebound. Kling, they're going to get her on steps.
Yeah, she got going just a little quick there. She knew what she wanted to do, just couldn't get it down in time.
Adams back in for the Abes along with Ferguson. You know, Abes did have a couple games over that holiday break. They played in the Marshfield. Or check that. That was Hudson, my mistake. So they had 2 games.
Yeah, Eau Claire
One
hosted
against
a tournament.
Marshfield, one against Wausau West, the old Abes.
Yeah,
they were in
DC
action on those same days. Yeah, DC Everest and Prescott.
Prescott was it? Yep.
And neither game was particularly close. So the good news, you got some game action, but
right.
you're not getting the test like you are tonight.
Yeah, we talked about that in pregame. That's what's going to be different about tonight. Can you elevate your game to this competition?
On the run out, Larson, but the Abes doing a great job of getting back.
Well, good feed from Larson.
And then the Raiders throw it away. Yeah, great look, great cut. It's just that the kick-out pass went awry. Palmier back in for Eau Claire Memorial. Boy, it's a good thing that Brandon Fanning's got a lot of folks on the staff down there, because just keeping track of who's in, who's out, what the matchups are, who's got whom.
Yeah, the assistant coaches, you're right, that's huge for them, just to make sure they can see who needs to come out, who needs fresh legs, and the matchups that it might occur. Graham with a great
Spin
look,
move,
can't finish.
Graham, and then an offensive rebound on Meredith Adams grabbing it, and they're going to get the Raiders on the foul.
Witten's going to pick up this one on a push, just her second.
Osterhughes is in for the Raiders. 8:56 remaining. Palmier on the drive. To Graham up top. Open look. Ferguson, no.
Oh, great rebound position inside. Meredith Adams, great position. Going to pick up the third on Witten right there.
Boy, and that, did you see the ovation that the Memorial bench gave Meredith Adams?
Absolutely. They love the effort, getting in position to cause that. Forces Hudson to only play with 1 big instead of 2.
Here's Adams. Backing her way in.
Gets it blocked.
Good defense that time by Ella Wolf of the Raiders. Able to get the block without coming down and
yeah, she's been solid all
knocking
night.
It off the wrist.
She got 1 foul all night, several blocks.
Lady at Palmier,
and
that's blocked.
And they've got a run out if they can get it.
Numbers now for the Raiders. But the Abes able to get back on defense. Here's Wolf all the way to the hoop for 2.
Yeah, Wolf is carrying this team right now the second half.
And 3 subs getting ready to check in for the old Abes. Schroeder to Palmier. Abes with the ball by 4. Cora Graham can't get the hoop.
Good hustle and the follow.
It was a back tap by Adams that kept that thing going. Schroeder off the glass. That's no
another
good.
One. Another couple of good looks on the drives. Just couldn't get them to fall.
Now Wolf gives it up for Larson. Picked up by Schroeder. They clear to Blaney. Osterhughes.
Steps out.
Nope.
Oh, we got the foul.
Forced foul.
There we go. Ferguson.
Non-shooting foul. Rhea Shaw back in, along with Nora Kling and Raina Welsh. Maggie McConnell back in for the Raiders. Abes by 4. They led by 6 at the break. Near steal by Memorial, and
out of bounds off Hudson.
Yeah, Hudson's McConnell was trying to save it, but touched it last.
That's a couple out of bounds plays now that the Hudsons have run and they've turned it over.
I always thought that those sideline out of bounds are sometimes the trickiest ones.
Yeah, usually underneath your own hoop, you've got a set play and you can get a look.
Nora Kling fouled on the drive.
Boy, if I'm Hudson, I've almost got to take a step back and say, listen, I'm not going to let you drive. You're going to have to pull up and knock something down. You almost cannot close out on her. She's so strong with the basketball going to the hoop.
Yeah, and that goes along with what we were talking about, Sparks, is the Abes not shooting a ton of threes because they're always in attack mode. They're always going to the bucket. And a reach-in foul right there on Ella Wolf.
Speaking of nickel dimers right there, a little cheap one from Wolf. Only her second, though. She's got 12 points here tonight.
Gretchen Witten back in for the Raiders. Osterhus will check out. Witten playing with 3 fouls for Hudson.
Old Abe's at the line shooting the bonus right now. There's a lot of time left, and they're on the bonus already. We talked about free throws being an issue tonight. This is where the Old Abes can make some strides here to extend this lead.
2-2. Welsh now up to 14 points. Six-point lead for the Eau Claire Memorial Old Abes. That was their lead at the break. Here's Witten. Shot no good. Scramble for the loose ball. Shaw has it. Abes in transition.
Great look from Shaw.
She'll head to the line.
Looked like a clean block right there. Larson thought it was clean, but she's going to draw the foul right there.
Wait, Shaw, one of those players, has always got the head up, always looking as she's running that break.
And does she have a motor? Oh, my.
Yep.
She's just going constantly. Right there, the steal. And, again, like you said, head up. Who's coming with me? She's Kling on the side, trailing, drops it off nice, draws the foul. And, again, Old Abe's at the line.
And she had options either way. She had Palmier on the left wing who was starting to fan out for an open look outside.
I thought that's where the kick was going.
Yeah, and then meantime, Kling just motoring down that right wing. Knocked out of bounds, last touch by the Abes. 1 or 2 that trip for Nora Kling. But that free throw makes it a 7-point game with just over 7 minutes left.
That good spurt right there by the Old Abes. They were kind of stagnant for a while, stuck on 37 for quite a bit, but a little late surge here for some points.
Raiders with Wolf. Here's that high-low game. Down low, Witten. Hoop wouldn't have it. Out of bounds. Last touch by Hudson.
Yeah, good job again by Schroeder. Playing good defense and then going up for that rebound, get knocked away, but it stays with the Old Abes.
Abes by 7 with the basketball.
Got the good seal inside.
Welsh, defended well that time by Wolf.
Yeah, she's just so strong defensively tonight inside.
Boy, that's 2 really good post players.
Yeah, you look up there.
Head to head.
You got Welsh with 14. You got Wolf with 12.
Nora Kling on the drive. Contact.
Oh, my, the soft roll.
Oh, wow.
Looking for contact. Fanning's like, what? Nothing out of that?
Nora Kling up to 15 points.
Yeah, the 2 leading scorers have come to play here.
Nice backdoor cut. Raiders won't get the bucket there by McConnell. Six minutes remaining. Shot
good
Kling.
entry.
Welsh.
Strong finish, Edwards.
Counted in the foul.
First time she was quicker that time. Quick with the drop step to the glass. Wolf got caught trailing. Draws the foul. She'll pick up her 3rd.
Abe's on a 7-0 run. Looking to make it 8.
The difference in that post move to the one that she got tied up was how quick she went. She didn't hesitate. Quick spin move, got it up. The other one, she was just a little slower and got it tied up. So big difference and a big hoop right there.
And speaking of quick, that entry pass came quick as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, Fanning was calling for that. Coach saw the mismatch and had her posted up ready to go, and he was yelling for that to get into her. Welsh up to 17.
And the Abes have stretched this lead out to 12. Raiders were within 4. Larson, that one short. Offensive rebound off the glass. No, that time by Bartz.
Well, Raina Welch has got to be in double digits in rebounds tonight, too. Doing a real nice job on the glass, not just scoring.
Welch back door. Hoop wouldn't have it.
And the foul.
And
Good foul.
Again.
Shaw,
wow.
Great backdoor cut. They find her. Didn't get it to go, but stayed with it and then drew the foul. And that's 10 now on the Raiders. It'll be 2 the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think we're approaching danger zone time here for Hudson.
Yeah, that's a good call, Brad.
They played
You're
so
right.
well all night long. They got it down to 4 at 39-35, but they've been stuck on 35 ever since.
And again, we talked about this last 5 minutes, 8 minutes of the game. Will fatigue be a factor? And right now it's starting to show a little bit. Hudson struggling offensively to get things to finish. Old Abe's just keep subbing, keep rotating, keep the fresh legs out there.
1-2 that trip. Hudson, there's time remaining, but they're down double digits. Here's Bartz. Wolf will try one from outside. That's good.
Big 3 right there.
Ella Wolf stepping out and knocking down a three-pointer to make it a 10-point game.
Yeah, I think that's her second of the night.
Paul Meir got it blocked, but she's fouled. Devin Larson picks up the personal foul. That's her second, but as you pointed out, Sparks, double bonus time the rest of the way for the Old Abes.
And they got to knock these down if they really want to secure this one.
Ashlyn Schroeder back in. Raina Welsh returns for the Old Abes.
Ella Wolf for Hudson does have 4 fouls now. The Old Abes will look to try to attack her if they can. She has been the one to go to for the Raiders tonight. 0 for 2 on those.
Under 5 minutes to go. Raiders looking to make a push. Here's McConnell. Count it, and the foul.
Wow, just like that. Couple of back-to-back three-point plays coming down by the Raiders. And it's back to 8 and could be 7.
Yeah, they always say basketball a game of runs. Abe's had theirs to go up by 12. Now here come the Raiders. Connell's free throw no good. Schroeder the rebound. McConnell now up to 8 points for Hudson.
Hudson looking to trap now a little bit. Kling, a little force trying to get through that one.
Trying to draw the foul, but they play on.
Yeah, good job of the Raiders just getting their hands up.
Bartz on the drive. 2 more for the Raiders.
And it's down to 6. Fanning's going to take a timeout here.
We will take a timeout as well. Stick right here. We got a good one coming down the stretch. Old Abes by 6 with the ball. When we return, you're watching girls high school basketball on Zaleski Sports.
You're tuned in to Better Halves. Mike, what are you looking for?
Skip, I'm not getting older. I'm getting better. I still got big plans for my life and my Medicare.
I know exactly what you want from Medicare. Same as all the other guys. Me!
Hey, Mike, I'm Sheila from Security, and I'm just like you. In fact, I'm from your neighborhood, and I've got a Medicare plan that treats you like you.
Did it just get better in here?
Got a good one going here at the Eagles Nest. Eau Claire Memorial leading Hudson 48-42 with 4 minutes, 15 seconds to go. 6-point game at the break. Memorial led 30-24. Back and forth for a while, then the Old Abes went on a run to go up 47-35. Now it's the Hudson Raiders on a 7-0 run. Back the other way.
Well, that's how you break a press. Great job of ball movement there by the Old Abes.
Raina Welsh now up to 19 points. On the drive, up and in, Libby Bartz.
Libby Bartz had a couple of those the first half, too. Tough finishes. Here's this half-court zone trap.
Kling through traffic. Kind of got caught up in the air. She wasn't sure if she was going to pass that one or shoot that one.
She was looking for an outlet. That's kind of where that freshman look kind of comes in right there.
Matazinski, it's no good. Good look, wouldn't go down.
Well, they've just got to settle down here and get a good look. Run their offense. Fanning calling out the play. Hudson in zone.
Kling finds Schroeder. Ashlyn Schroeder for two.
Much better look that time from Kling. Taking her time, getting that bounce pass through.
Ashlyn Schroeder up to 4 points, but she's affected this game in a lot of ways with her defense, her rebounding. Near steal, Kling.
Now they got to recover, though, and that's going to be a layup right there for Wolf. Oh, she missed.
You put the jinx on her, Sparks. Wolf again for two. Ella Wolf up to 17 points. Just over 2 minutes to go.
Shorter turns and looks. She's got Raina Welsh underneath for an easy bucket. Didn't quite find her.
Brandon Fanning says timeout. We'll step aside for a minute as well. Back with more. You're watching Girls High School Basketball on Zaleski Sports.
From humble beginnings in 1904, the Wheatrick family has grown Grassland Dairy Products into one of the largest processors of butter in the nation. Based in Greenwood, Wisconsin, the family and its hundreds of employees continue their pursuit of providing high-quality products that can proudly be served in restaurants and homes across America.
Get more sales, more customers, more employees, more community support. Let Zaleski Sports help you today. Our advertising rates are less than what you have in your pocket now. People just like you watching this broadcast are your next customer or team member. Plus, you'll have the satisfaction of making sure that our light continues to shine on these student athletes. Use the phone in your hand. Email us now.
2 minutes, 7 seconds remaining in this one. Eau Claire Memorial 52. Hudson 46. Each team 3-0 in Big Rivers Conference play. The winner will stay in first place. Old Abe's in the double bonus. Possession arrow is pointing the way of Hudson. Nora Kling on the drive. Layup good.
Staying aggressive. She realized they switched back to a man. She just went one-on-one, took her to the hole.
17 points for the freshman, Nora Kling. Abe's by 8. Minute 45 left. Matazinski gives it up. Good look from the perimeter that time by Wolf. Hoop wouldn't have that one. Kling on the push.
Good decision.
Slow it down, yep.
Good decision. You got a minute and a half. You're up 8. You got to burn some clock here now.
Matazinski guarding Kling. They're both freshmen playing at a crucial time, and with that 30-second timeout taken by Brandon Fanning. We'll take another quick 30 seconds, back in a bit. You're watching Girls High School Basketball on Zaleski Sports.
The biggest name in streaming and the biggest name in Wisconsin high school sports broadcasting are now in the same place. Download the Zaleski Sports app on Roku today for easy viewing of your favorite high school sports. Find games by season, sport, or school, then sit back and enjoy. Download the Zaleski Sports app on Roku today.
Culligan Water delivers. From your first call to your first sip to your first soak. Culligan, give us a tap. the only water that comes with a van.
All right, minute 20 left. Eau Claire Memorial 54, Hudson 46. Old Abe's basketball coming out of the timeout. Abe's have 2 timeouts left. Raiders have 3. Raiders do have the possession arrow in their favor. However, the Old Abe's are in the double bonus.
There's
near
a quick
steal
tie-up on that
and
one.
the held ball.
That
So
was-
with that,
Yeah, that was a quick one there. Coach Fanning not real pleased with that. It wasn't tied up very long. She just kind of came down. They grabbed. She got it away from them right away, but goes back to the Raiders and the turnover.
Hudson needing points with a minute left. It's an 8-point margin now. Wolf gives it up. McConnell. Abe's commit the foul, but it is a non-shooting foul. It's the 6th on the Old Abe's
That's
this half.
huge. That's huge. That's only the 6th.
3rd foul on Kling. We have 54.9 ticks remaining.
Yeah, good
and
job.
And a steal.
Fanning told Kling to get down there and help on the inside, and it paid off.
Shaw double teamed. Abe's will keep it. 46.5 left.
Now, this is where the Old Abe's got to realize, again, a jump ball doesn't hurt them. They'll maintain possession. So you can let it tie up or take a timeout, as they do have 2 remaining.
Inbounds to Shaw.
She doesn't want to be there, though.
Kling fouled up top, so Nora Kling will head to the line.
And shooting 2.
Bartz picks up the foul. It is her 3rd. Nora Kling now up to 18 points. List for 19, which would match Raina Welch's total. And she does just that. 56-46, Eau Claire Memorial on top of Hudson. Time ticking down in this one. Here's Larson on the drive. Nice backdoor cut. McConnell, no. Matazinski the rebound. Wolf will try a 3. That's no good. Rebound, Nora Kling, knocked away. Hudson gets it back. And the Abes commit the foul, and that's going to put Jaden Matazinski at the line. 4th foul on Ashlyn Schroeder, but just 20 seconds remaining.
Yeah, this is the bonus. But again, the Old Abe's in good shape. Just 20 seconds and up 10. Missed the first. And there's your board.
And who else? Nora Kling.
Yeah, she's got to have a double-double tonight herself.
Shaw into the front court, clears to Palmier. Abes can just let this one run down. Crowd coming to its feet here at the Eagles Nest.
Good win here tonight.
56-46. Eau Claire Memorial wins its 9th game of the season against just 1 loss. Abes remain in first place in the BRC. They improved to 4-0. Hudson Raiders dropped to 7-4, 3-1 in the BRC. Sparks, this was a heck of a game between these 2 teams tonight.
Well, a lot of talent on that floor, and you could see it tonight. Just good basketball all around, a good game. It wasn't until late here in the second half that the Old A's were able to kind of stretch that out. That one time they got it up as much as 13, but then Hudson all of a sudden answered in a quick way. About a minute later, they cut it back down to 5. And here all of a sudden again, down the stretch, when the Old A's had to finish it off, they were able to.
Sparks, we touched on these points several times, but Abe's with a little better depth and getting consistent production kind of top to bottom in the lineup. To me, that's what made the difference. Anything else that you saw tonight?
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Just the way they use their bench. The Old A's constantly, every 2 minutes, there was a rotation. New in, new bodies, new fresh legs, constantly keeping that pressure on the Raiders. And again, we go back to how good their point guard is. You know, Devin Larson runs a great job for Hudson. She runs the point. She's their leading scorer at almost 12 a game. Well, she nailed a 3 right away to start the game early. She got another 2 early and didn't score again. That constant pressure from the Old A's switching off on who had to guard Devin Larson, putting all that pressure, just really paid off for the Old A's, especially down the stretch.
So Eau Claire Memorial wins it 56-46. Coming up next, the postgame show brought to you by Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Rely on the experience of our sports medicine team when you have any sports-related injury or issue. You can count on prompt, proper diagnosis and a customized treatment plan to meet your goals. Their orthopedic surgeons and our athletic trainers serve your athlete in Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls, and western Wisconsin. That is coming up next, right here on Zaleski Sports.
Hip impingement and hip labral tears are common causes of hip and groin pain and are often the result of repetitive use from crouching, sports, or trauma. Today, we are visiting Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Dr. Carlson, a partner with Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, is in the forefront of using a newer procedure called hip arthroscopy, which allows minimally invasive access to a joint and treatments to problems never addressed before. Using hip arthroscopy, Dr. Carlson is able to repair tissue without dislocating the hip and without replacing it.
Hip arthroscopy is where a surgeon takes a camera on the end of a long wand, which we call a scope, and through a small poke hole incision in your skin, delivers that scope into a joint. In this particular case, we're talking about hip arthroscopy, where that scope would be put in the hip joint. The hip joint first has to be dislocated or the ball and socket pulled apart. When that's pulled apart, we can access the joint and look around and do the work we're talking about doing. Once inside the joint, through other portals, we call them, those poke holes that we use to access the joint, we can use other instruments, again on the end of a long wand, to perform the work inside the joint. Things like repairing the cartilage rim of the socket, called a labrum, fixing cartilage defects or problems on the head of the ball or the lining of the socket, repairing tissue around the hip, such as ligaments or a capsule, repairing the hip, or releasing them if need be, depending on the particular problem.
Dr. Carlson's goal is to eliminate the segment of untreated patients or patients with delayed treatment who have curable hip pathology, educating potential patients and their providers that these symptoms are not things they need to live with or that they are not from their back or groin pulls or early arthritis. Few orthopedic surgeons are operating on hips through a scope because it is a newer and technically difficult surgery. Therefore, certain diagnoses may be missed by physicians not familiar with these newer treatment options.
Patients I see with hip joint pain that can be fixed and not just replaced can range from their mid-teens or younger teens to 50, 60 years old. In the past, patients who had labral tears in their hip were told that they may have some pre-arthritis or an early arthritic problem. They may be told that they were just prone to frequent groin pulls in the sport of their choice. And taking some time away from their sport, they may sometimes be able to return to the sport with just continued pain. And fortunately now, with our knowledge of the concept of labral tears and our ability to treat that problem, we can take people who are otherwise just waiting 20 years to undergo a hip replacement, or just feeling that they can't ever participate in that activity because they'll just keep getting groin pulls. We can take that person, we can make them better, we can fix their problem, we can bring them back to their sport, and allow them to continue to develop as an athlete or as a worker or whatever particular activity they're trying to do where that hip was affecting them.
Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine has been committed to the healthcare needs of patients in western Wisconsin for over 45 years. Their success and reputation as an outstanding orthopedic clinic can be attributed to the teamwork of their friendly, knowledgeable physicians and staff.
Here at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, we have 12 partners, orthopedics, neurosurgery, non-operative spine, and foot and ankle. We really pride ourselves in listening closely to the patients and hearing what they're saying, spending a lot of time engaging in the conversation of what is really bothering that person.
After meeting with the patient, Dr. Carlson determined that his difficulties had all been related to painful hip impingement.
It was incredibly important for me to meet with a doctor that understood sports and athletics and kind of just how I wanted to continue that lifestyle instead of just kind of shutting it down. So meeting with someone like Dr. Carlson was incredibly important to me because he understood how I still wanted to be active after a surgery and still wanted to maintain my daily lifestyle.
While visiting with Dr. Carlson, we learned that he grew up skiing and continues to ski competitively across the country and also enjoys hunting, fishing, and hiking. He is passionate that his patients' goals are his goals. Whether it is getting them back to playing with their kids, working aggressively, or competing in sports, his patients are more active and enjoy their lives.
When I see those people so happy with themselves, so happy with their decision to have this fixed or to go through this process, as scary as it sometimes is.
All right, welcome back to the Eagles Nest. Eau Claire Memorial picking up a key win tonight over Hudson, 56-46. I'm joined by Nora Kling, Raina Welsh, each with 19 points. Raina, let's start with you. You're a multi-year starter here, but coming into this season, you kind of knew what you had as far as the returners. You knew what you had with the freshmen coming up. Are you guys where you thought you would be at this point of the season?
I think so. I think we still got a lot of room to grow, but we knew we were special coming into this, and I think all of us are giving everything we have to make it, to reach our ceiling, be the best we can be this year.
You and Ella Wolf had quite a battle today, and obviously good competition. In my estimation, though, you guys had a little better depth. When you're out there, how nice is it to know, hey, you can bring in any number of people off the bench and you guys will still be in good shape?
It's incredible. We've been blessed this year to have that. And from last year, we played about 7 deep. So being able to play 10 deep this year, it's special. And not a lot of teams get to do it. So it's really awesome knowing we can.
Nora Kling, let's talk about it from your perspective. As a freshman, you kind of knew, obviously you knew these guys and you knew that you were going to have an opportunity to play. But learning from the older players and getting adjusted to Coach Fanning's system, how has that transition gone for you?
It was hard at first, but the older girls, upperclassmen, have really helped me, brought me into the program and helped me through stuff, and yeah.
Going forward now, I mean, obviously this win is nice. I know you're going to enjoy it, but you know what the coaches say, enjoy this one now, and then we're going to get ready for the next one. But in terms of what you guys want to focus on from here on out, what are those things?
Well, I mean, like you said, we're one game at a time. We got a tough schedule in January. We had some maybe not so difficult teams in December, and so we know we got a lot ahead of us and a lot of room to grow, so we just have to go one game at a time, learn from our mistakes, and keep moving forward.
You guys get to be in the Zaleski Sports Highlight House. This will be your first time. You've done this before, though, right? So you remember how this goes? So I'm going to hand you this microphone. Dominic will give you the thumbs up. I'm going to get out of the way, and then just go through the door.
I'm Raina Welch.
I'm Nora Kling.
And we're in the house.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the way. We'll see you down the road. We'll have a few more of your games. All right. So that's going to do it from the Eagles List tonight. We will have a full slate of games next week. Check your Zaleski Sports website for those contests. Dave Sparger and I will be on the call for the basketball games. Mike Schwengler will join me for the hockey games. For my color commentator tonight, Dave Sparger, for Don Millay, doing a fine job on directing and videography. I'm Bob Bradovich saying good night from the Eagles Nest at Eau Claire Memorial.